Mr. Speaker, with your permission, I will answer question 7 with question 13 and question 17. Last week, the Infected Blood Compensation Authority issued a small number of invitations to begin testing a new claim service. And furthermore, I can announce today that applications for interim payments to the estates of people whose death has not yet been recognised have now opened. This is an important step in getting money into the hands of victims of the infected blood scandal.
Sarah Owen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My constituent Sharon Moore has been a fierce campaigner for victims and family members of the infected blood scandal after decades of government negligence. Sir Brian Langstaff was clear that community of infected and affected people should be included to enact his inquiry recommendations. However, there had been little to no communication with patients or organisations such as the Haemophilia Society and Terence Higgins Trust by the previous government. I am delighted that the recommendations are being enacted today, but could he please tell us how he will be working with the Department of Health and colleagues in there to make sure that people get the compensation they deserve?
Alan Thompson.
Well, I firstly pay tribute to the Honourable Lady's constituent, Sharon Moore, and all her campaigning. As I say, the interim payments to the estates of deceased infected, I've now given the instruction for that to open today. I've already said to this House that I expect the Infected Blood Compensation Authority to make its first payments before the end of the year. Regulations in terms of those who are affected, the second set of regulations, I would hope, subject of course, Mr. Speaker, to this House to be completed by the end of March next year, and I expect payments to the affected to begin next year as well.
Alan Thompson.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I am very pleased indeed to hear that the Minister has opened applications for the interim payments. Could the Minister elaborate on exactly how those payments might be accessed so that my constituents in Erewash can get their hands on those payments as fast as possible?
In terms of going forward, and I say this to all honourable and right honourable members, please do go on the gov.uk website. There are the details there for the Infected Blood Compensation Authority. I would urge people with interest to register with it. The authority is already sending out newsletters. But I would also say to honourable and right honourable members, on specific cases, they are very welcome to write to me at the Cabinet Office, and I will, of course, look into them and ensure there's a response.
Patrick Hurley.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I welcome the urgency with which this government has moved this important issue forward, especially now that we know there's a timescale for applications being opened. Can I ask the Minister to update the House on when victims can expect to receive their final compensation payments?
So, Mr. Speaker, as I've indicated to the House, I do expect the Infected Blood Compensation Authority to make its first payments before the end of the year, and indeed to start payments to the affected next year. The Government is moving as quickly as it can to ensure that people do receive the compensation that has been, frankly, long overdue.
Shadow Minister John Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I warmly welcome the Right Honourable Gentleman's announcement on the £100,000 interim payments to the estates of deceased infected, thereby maintaining the momentum that was established earlier this year. And I thank him for his thorough statement to the House yesterday introducing the statutory instrument. Could I ask the Right Honourable Gentleman to confirm that it is his intention to ramp up rapidly from the payouts to the cohort of 20 infected in the test case cohort? And can he give us as much detail as he can to the House to advise when others in the infected cohort should expect to receive their payouts?
I'm grateful to the Right Honourable Gentleman for the constructive tone that he's taken throughout the debates under this government, and it continues the work that we did when I was the shadow and we worked together to try to deliver these payments as quickly as possible. The whole purpose of having that test cohort is to enable a range of different cases to be considered by the Infected Blood Compensation Authority and to give the best possible opportunity to ramp up as quickly as possible. That is why I do expect the first payments to be made before the end of this year. I then expect the payments to the affected to begin next year, and I will be ensuring that regulations are placed before this House to make sure that those deadlines are reached.
Dr Danny James.